Hello, I'm Erin Halvorsen with Rugs by Erin. Today we're going to be making a round basket or a round rug. The technique is the same in the starting point, and I will show you the transitions between the two different things. So let's go ahead and get started. Okay, we're starting a round rug or a round basket. The technique is the same, so let's go ahead and get going. Two little things I want to tell you is, I'm using a 14 millimeter today, which you can find on my website, which has got the long handle. But when I transitioned on the basket part of it, we're going to be using this as the base, and then we're going to transition up the side so we can achieve these baskets that you see here. This sheet yarn was only done by like 1.5 inch sheet yarn, and I still use the 14 millimeter. However, the beginning rug or round rug or the basket, I'm going to show you the difference of using like a 3-inch wide sheet yarn, and it still can be achieved like with this 14 millimeter or P-hook, which you can see the difference. And it just depends. You achieve different looks. This will be thinner. You'll see that this will be a thicker type of thing. So there's not just one exact size you have to use. So let's get going. That will be the transition for the basket, but this will be the beginning for a round rug or a round basket. Okay, so I like to leave a long tail whenever I start a rug or a basket or anything. So Mr. Cameraman, if you want to come around the back side. I show this how to do this in how to hide the tail, my new favorite way, and how to get it going. I'm going to make a slip knot to start off with. I go slower in the beginning oval video. You may want to watch it there, but I'm going to do it here fairly slow. So you're going to hold the shorter piece, the tail long. You see how long that is? That's like 18 inches long maybe. You're going to cross over like this, and you've made this little circle here, and then you're going to take the bigger ball and you're going to feed it through that center part and grab it, kind of hold the bottom here and pull it, and then you can adjust with the longer piece to make it a little smaller. Okay, some of you want to do this when you're starting a rug. Don't do that, that's too tight. You have to go into those holes, so make it a little looser. Okay, you can just crochet. Now you're going to hold the tail in the same hand as the rug if you want to. As the hook, if you're not going to incorporate the tail. However, this technique that I'm going to show you is a great technique where I incorporate the tail at the same time. Either technique can be done, and you can always weave this in later. But this is my way of doing it now, and it makes me happy. So I put them together, and then you're going to make 5 chain stitches, loose chain stitches. Loose, loose, loose. I teach classes, and the people that really struggle with this are the ones that make it tight, tight, tight. So please try to make it loose. You kind of hold, I hold it when I'm using this hiding the tail technique, kind of hold it down here. Again, if you've got a 6-inch, which is the majority of what your hooks are, they're 6 inches long. Look where you're going to be all the way. You're going to already be hanging off the edge. This is why I designed this is one of the reasons why I designed the longer. So I bring it down here so I have this nice throat, which helps regulate the stitches. You're going to cross over, and you're going to grab the material. See, I turn it just slightly, and you're going to pull it through. There's 1 chain stitch. We're going to do 5 of those. Cross over, turn it, pull it through. See how loose it is? 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay, see how loose that is? That's actually a little bit looser than sometimes I do it. This one's a little bit big, but it will probably work. And look, the tail's already gone. Sometimes it will stick out, sometimes you can grab it later. Now, in order to get your beginning circle, you're going to arch it like this. Okay, see how we're pulling it like that? And you're going to go in over here, which is the end stitch, right here. Not here, but right here. This helps to not have a big hole in the bottom, in the center of your rug. That sometimes happens. This took me a long time to figure out. And this technique I'm going to show you will help eliminate it too. Okay, so what you're going to do is you're going to do a slip stitch. You're going to go into that hole. You're going to grab the material and you're going to pull it through. Okay, so you got a little circle. You're going to pull the back piece off, and there's your circle. Now you still do have a hole, but watch how it kind of dissipates as we go around. Now what we're going to do, I'm going to make this round rug not necessarily in the back bar, and you can watch my video on the back bar as opposed to going in the single crochet. This is still a single crochet, but for the first go around, I kind of go in the back bar, and there's actually more than 5 places you go into. So watch this, and we'll try to count them as we go around all the way. You're going to put in 2 single crochets in each one of these places. This is the stitch. This is where you're going to make your first one. These sometimes, some of you watch on your phones, and my eyes are just not good enough. So then you'll say, I couldn't see. I'm going to be very careful and try to help you. But if you're watching on a tablet or a computer, or even your TV, which scares me just a little bit that you're watching me on your TV, this big screen, but you're going to be able to see this much better. So please, consider that when you're watching these details if you're struggling with these things. So here is where you're going to put your first stitch. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Another one is created, 6, and this is where I'll show you when we come back around. So even though you only had 5 stitches, 2 single crochets are going to go into each one of these. So you're going to go into this hole, cross over, pull it through. Now you have 2, 1, 2. You're going to cross over and pull them both off. That's 1 single crochet. We're going to go back in that same hole. Remember I said we're going to do 2 single crochets in each one of these holes. You're going to go into that hole, the same hole you were in, turn it just a little bit, pull it, bring it up level again, okay? Bring it so you don't get it too tight. Again, you're using this throat that you have here. You're going to cross over and pull them both off. So that's your first hole with 2 single crochets. Then I'm pulling this right here. See this? You're going to use that. Not down in here, which is normally where I would put the stitch, because that pulls too much. That's why we're doing it this way. You're going in just this loop right here. You're going to go into that hole, and you're going to do the same thing. You're going to turn, grab your material, pull it back up so it's loose enough, cross over, and pull them both off. That's your first one in the second hole. Let's do it again. Put it in that hole, grab your material, turn it, pull it through. We're back up again, pull the back, cross over, and pull the back 2 off. So that's your second hole. Okay, there's your third one. See, there's your third one. Going to go in your third place that you're going to put your stitch in, go there, and do the same thing. I'm going to go a little faster. Oops, excuse me. Sometimes people will tell me, I had several emails from one person, and they wanted to know how they could tell where they were. If you can't tell, pull it back out and start again. There's no way I can tell you. I get confused too sometimes. Put it in the same hole. This is hole 3. Pull it back up and pull it. See how loose I'm leaving it? I'm still leaving it loose. See, that hole is still there. But let's watch as we come around and we're going back in. This is the 4th one. You go in here, grab your material. We're doing that same single crochet. See how we're kind of, these holes appear a little bit, and I should have done it just a little tighter to be honest with you. I'm going to now go in here. This is, I think, the 5th one. Now I'm dealing a little bit with this tail, which you can always snip off, but sometimes I just try to tuck it in so it can be hidden. Sometimes it is hidden, sometimes you'll have to snip it in the end. Okay, so there was 5. You're going to go here, right here, and you're going to do 2 more single crochets. That tail's popping through again, so we'll see if we're going to be able to hide it or if we'll have to snip it at the end. Okay, see how you kind of, it looks like this? Now we're going to go back over to doing the whole hole instead of the back stitch. That's the whole hole. Instead of just grabbing that, which you saw that loop over, these are your holes now. Okay? Where you got both pieces, these are your holes that you're going to be using right here. Not just that, not just that. You're going to be, these are going to be the holes. In most of these, if not all of these, you are going to put 2 single crochets. Depending on how loose or how tight, you may only put 1 single crochet in the hole. We're going to watch as we go along, okay, and see how that goes. Now see, this will close up this little gap here. And we're doing still just single crochets. This is the same whether you're making a bottom of a basket or if you're making a round rug. And you just continue around. Okay, so these are all going to have now to, now see, there's a little bit of a hole there because I made it a little bit looser, but it's not real obvious. I mean, you could pull it, and some of you will. You'll overwork your material because you're stressed. Relax. It's a rag rug. Enjoy the process. I really feel like we need to relax and enjoy this. Now, some of you are taskmasters. I am on certain things myself, but try to relax. Okay, so we're going to continue to go 2 single crochets, and when I get to a point where in the same hole, I will show you what I'm talking about. Then we might only do 1. Okay, see? We're here and I've done 2 single crochets. I'm not sure if I'm going to put 2 in there or not. So I'm going to start with my 1. There's 1 single crochet. It's still, see how this will have to stretch all the way over here. If you have to stretch all the way over there, you could start already start the bottom of your basket or your circle rug cupping. That's what some of you will try to do. So I suggest you don't, because we wanted to watch when I do add the 2nd single crochet. Hey, that's right there. It's going to go in easy. So each time we need to be judging. So far we've done 2 single crochets in every hole. You may do this all the way around the 2nd time around. We're going to continue on so we can see how you start transitioning to not using 2 single crochets in every hole and only start going to 1 periodically. Okay, we're still now, and I've switched to a different material, and I've already made my sheet yarn, and of course I have videos to show how to make sheet yarn, how to attach it without sewing, and I have all those videos available to you in playlists that are available to you. This one is not quite as wide as this one because it is a little thicker material, so you have to make that adjustment, and it really doesn't matter if it is, it won't matter that much. Okay, so we're still doing 2 single crochets in each one of these holes. I'm going to continue to work a little faster. Some of you will get bored with me. Some of you will say, I like it, and I can't please you all, I just do my best. Remember, this is all free. I just do the best I can trying to help. That's my job, is in my mind, is to be helpful, to teach a craft that a lot of people wouldn't get exposure to or can't travel to one of my classes. Or I'm not traveling to your city. Okay, we're still doing 2 single crochets as we go around in order to keep it laying flat. All right. 2 2 single crochets in there, and then see how I lay it flat? I do a lot of it on my lap, but as your bottoms get bigger or the rugs get bigger, you have to lay it flat or you can't see. Is it cupping? Is it fighting me? Is it getting too wobbly? Because some of you, all of a sudden, it's like crazy going on here, or you got this huge cup. Well, you have to adjust and look at it. So you need to look at it and see where it's at before it gets out of hand. And then you're upset because you have to pull it out, and it's hard to pull it out, especially when you're a beginner. You hate to pull out what you've already done. But if you keep laying it down, you'll be able to. So we're going to continue on. Lyle, could you please come in and see what we're doing? Okay, so we've done 2 single crochets all the way around, and I believe from the feel of it, we've come back around. Now see? Here we are immediately. Here's where something looks different. Instead of the stitch being this way in relationship, here's the next stitch. This is actually the second, we've gone around twice now. The first one and the second. This is where it started, which is really interesting. Right where it started, it may not be that way on your rug, but right here, I've put 1 in here, and that's the next one. This is really close. If I add another one here, and I keep on doing that too much, then what's going to happen is it's going to get wavy. Okay? So we're going to go into the next one and only put 1 single crochet in that one that I was just in. Now we're going to do 1 single crochet and look at it. Again, now it's off at an angle instead of right here. So I'm going to go ahead and put a second single crochet in here. This one only had 1 single crochet. We're going back to another single crochet, the second one in the same hole. So this is achieved with a rug or a bottom of a basket. Okay, now see how that's lining up and it's straight. So we know we've done a good job here. We're going to go back into the next hole. It's getting a little tight. I need to be a little bit looser with my stitching. Again, this one still needs a second single crochet because it's off at an angle. Here's your next hole, and you need to put an extra single crochet. So you're going to continue to do this all the way around. You're going to have less and less double 2 crochets in the same hole as you go around, because as the arch gets wider, you don't need to do it as often. See, this one is only going to have 1 single crochet. This one had 2, this one had 2, this one had 1. This one's only going to have 1. See, it's right up and down. We know that it can make it there. So we're going to go in here. So what's going to happen is we're going to continue on with this bottom and make it to the size that you want. And I wanted to make it big enough in this part of it so you could see how to add the stitches. I put 2 in there. This one's only going to have 1 because it's right there. Okay, so now we're going to move over, and I'm going to edit this in and show you how to build up the sides if we're working on the basket, and I will show you how to finish your rug if we're working on the round rug and how to achieve that. Okay.